on which some table or some tabular thing will be written, and then they will have to compile everything, add everything, and it used to be very difficult to really monitor, analyze, figure out where the problem is. And as a result, the growth of the capital market was very slow. It was limited to a very small set of individuals who knew what all this process of equity markets is. And it was a more of a concentrated individuals who used to do transactions and who used to do activities which are there primarily on the Bombay Stock Exchange prior to NSE's existence. And there were a lot of regional stock exchanges where, again, in every regional stock exchange, the individuals who are attached to that stock exchange, they used to only be aware of what is happening in the equity market and how the buying and selling is taking place inside it. And only they were privy to that information which is there inside the. Everybody wants to earn money. That greed factor which is there in humans, it existed then, it existed now, and it will exist in future also. So because it was very prone to these kind of slowness, it was prone to frauds. So that was the capital market which was there when the physical world of shares existed prior to 2000. Now this is when the digital journey began somewhere from 1994, and it actually took pace after the starting of NSE, then NSDL, then BSE also became the centralized kind of stock exchange. Then they started their own depository, which is CDSL, and with the advent of NSE, NSDL, BSE, CDSL, post 2000, the demat journey sped up and it was very fast. Now, once demat came in, the world of physical shares actually stopped. There was no physical movement of shares. Everything was dematerialized, and everything, like you have your money in bank in the form of electronic cash, and only when you need, you again make or extract that particular physical notes and use it outside. There, once dematerialization was done, the movement also was through electronic form. So no physical existence of share was there post 2000, and as a result, the transfer process it was sped up. The settlement process also became from T plus 5 to T plus 3 to T plus 2, and today it is they are talking to T plus they are at T plus 1. So that is something which has come to. They are talking about real time gross settlement now. So that is something which is a future. But the settlement began very fast and becomes T plus 2. There was centralized settlement and regional stock exchange had to be closed. They became the brokers of these NSE and BSE, and as a result, today India has only two exchanges which are operational, NSE and BSE, and life has become extremely comfortable, simple. And while the regional stock exchange is closed, what happened is they were given the uh, option to become the brokers of either NSE, BSE, or both. Most of them opted to become brokers for on both the exchanges, and they continue to do their business and they continue to offer services to their own clients. This made the monitoring of for SEBI very easy, and that's why you would have seen that regulations have become stricter, easier, faster.
बघू नको तू बाबा आपल्याला तिथे जावं लागणार आहे कळतं तुला ते पाऊस नसला पाहिजे ते बरोबर तिथे ॲडमिटवालाचं करू का ते ॲडमिटवाल्यावर क्लिक करायला काय सीन सोडवायला
लाईव्ह आहे ना आपण तो त्याचा कनेक्शन नेट जरा चेक करत राहा
काय करायचं आता
आपलं नेट चालतंय ना चेक करत राहा मी आलो काय त्याचं नाव मनोज
चल आपलं नेट आहे.
मनोज सागर गेलं लाईव्ह
आणि लाईव्ह चालू आहे. लाईव्ह गेला असतो आपल्याला.
एवढं चेक करत राहा
Human contact became zero. Everybody was stuck in their own areas. The offices were closed, and that continued for about 6 to 8 months. Everybody was bound inside their own houses. You were not allowed to be physically touching anyone, physically meeting anyone, physically present at any point. So, as a result, everybody started thinking of each and every touch point, how it can be replaced by technology. And then came the digital onboarding where video KYC or online verification, all these things came in. Nobody used to visit branch because at some stage, Reserve Bank of India allowed the branch staff to visit the branches to give services. But the people were so afraid of visiting anywhere that they never used to go to the branch. And as a result of that, the different technologies like the remote logins, like when you want to support, people used to support remotely. Net meetings like the one what we are talking about, Google Meet, Zoom, all these platforms came in. Mobile apps came into picture. Every small bank, every small DP, every small broker, they started their own mobile apps for the purpose of people to be in control of their account and for the purpose of they being able to use the services which are being offered. As I said, video KYC came into picture. But when all these things were happening, naturally, people who are experts in the technology world but have a crooked mind, crooked mentality, they started using this thing and they then came the cyber crimes. And the cyber crimes have increased greatly in the last 3 4 years of time. The work that is there for cyber crime divisions has increased tremendously. If you look at Google, you will find so many crores of rupees have been just siphoned off by cyber crimes, where different ways and means are found out by people to really uh, peep into the bank accounts, extract the money, and take it out. So there was increase in the cyber crimes, and this extreme interconnectivity happened between when you say three in one, and everything is to be digital. The interconnectivity between banks and capital markets increased to such an extent that even the capital markets abroad got connected. And when so many things are connected to each other, things are bound to become simple, faster, efficient, and prone to cyber attacks. So that's something which has happened in the last 3 years. If you see post COVID from March 2020. Now the new normal is that you can see is the branches have reopened. Uh, since 2021, most of the branches, most of the services being offered in the capital market in the world of BFSI, it is normal. So all the branches are open. The all entire staff is working. The now the work from home even has stopped, and many of the offices, even otherwise also, other than BFSI, they have asked their staff to be back to work. So it has come back to normal. Investors have started visiting branches. So the need of digital has come in because physical life has began once again. Digital, where investments have already gone in, will exist. It will improve. People will be leveraging the technology investments and technology products which are being given across during these last 3 years. But at the same time, the human resources, which are the staff of that BFSI sector, have to be used. So there is a need to bring these two together, use humans for the purpose of giving the digital technology usage to the people. And as a result, even the regulations have become stricter. Once regulations are stricter, again use of technology comes into picture. So it's a cycle which is there. So this is the new normal which is there post COVID. All these things have actually posed a lot of challenges as well as it has thrown open some opportunities. The first challenge that I can see and you all can see is to adjust to the technology changes and the need of constant training to the human resources. Believe me, you will find that many of the times when you visit banks, branches, you may be aware of certain regulations being put in by the regulator. You may be aware of certain feature which the bank has started offering you because in the technology world, in the digital world, because of digital marketing, the bank has directly communicated certain things to you. They have said that we have started offering this thing to you through your mobile app, through your web application. But when you go and inquire in the bank person says, "मुझे देखना पड़ेगा. I am not aware of this particular thing. Let me see. Let me come back." So there is a need of constant training to every individual which is there. What happens is the tech world is so fast, and with agile development technologies, people are able to deliver tech changes at very quickly. Whereas the training world, where physical trainings are to be conducted, or for that reason, even online trainings are to be conducted, it takes time for the training to be given to the HR people or the people who are giving those services to the end customers. And as a result, there is a big challenge in terms of ensuring that the human resources are constantly trained. That itself is a challenge. Then rising cost of human resource and technology, because everybody now is demanding more salary. The You can see that tomato prices are rising, this price is rising, that price is rising. So people have a feeling that it is pinching my pocket, so they are asking for more and more and more salary. Year on year, the standard inflation itself is about 7%.
सेकंड
So
हँड
people are
तो पुन्हा
expecting
स्क्रीन
the growth
शेअर कोण करतं
in their salaries at the rate of minimum 7 to 8%,
मोहन
which
लोंढे
itself is huge.
मोहन लोंढे कोण
And even the
हाँ
technology
कसली
world is demanding more and more and more money because every platform, every application, every technology that is being used, it goes obsolete very quickly. You can see
हाँ
iPhone
केलं
13,
केलं
14,
केलं
15, they are coming up with iPhone every year. It means that the technology is changing so fast that every time the depreciation time which is given for the CA people
ऍडमिट
or for the purpose of calculating the cost of the product which is invested, the depreciation period is very small now, and as a result, the cost becomes zero very quickly. So this itself is a challenge for every organization in the and the same applies to capital market and BFSI. Another thing is balancing the work with enhancing user experience. It means that while the end customer's experience has to go up, you need to make sure that the HR is able to do their work in the physical world as it is. So it should happen that because something is slow in the physical world, the digital experience goes for a toss. That should never happen. So there is still balancing of the work. Then they have to abide by stricter rules and regulations of RBI, SEBI, etc. Because even the regulators, as I said, they have access to quick data, huge data being churned out very quickly. They're able to make policies, they're able to make regulations quickly. Once the regulations change, the impact comes on the banks or the users of that particular thing. And as a result, the stricter rules and regulations are putting pressure onto the BFSI sector. So that's again a
Manoj
challenge.
sir,
Yes, yes.
Manoj sir, I
Yeah.
may interrupt. Sir, another speaker is there. I know you have huge knowledge and many things to
Yeah,
share.
this is the last
Please,
slide. This is the
yeah,
last
yes,
slide.
sir. Please
So,
summarize in brief and
yeah,
conclude.
it is
Okay,
the last.
sorry for
Only one
yeah.
slide is there. So the
Yes,
journey
sir.
has
Yes, thank you so much.
been 400 lakh crores. Again, this reaching young population easily, ensuring that financially educated, managing big data and data analytics, finding optimum use of branches and branch staff. This is something which is easily done. Now, this is the future of digital capital markets. This is the last slide that I have. Better and quick onboarding experience, real-time settlement of shares. So if you sell shares now, you will get the money in your account quickly. Proliferation of trained freelancers, providing physical part to the customer, PHY part to the customers. Significant growth and journey to $10 trillion market capitalization.
Sorry to interrupt you.
More derivative products evolution. Interconnected world. The 16 by 7 by 365 market time. Today it is 12 by 7 by 360, not 365. So it will become 16 by 7 by 365. Continuous operational markets.
recording करना है
And as Professor Ravindra Raina also said, that we will be number 3 economy by 2028.
बंद ना हो जाए
So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, madam, of coming and speaking here. Time was a constraint, and I tried to give as much as I can in the digital world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Sorry for interrupting you.
And
One
no
more
issue.
time, we'll definitely call you because you have so many things to share, we know. But time is a constraint, and this digital platform again has a limitation, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, Matkar, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Manoj Sate sir, for your subject experts and professional knowledge. You are entitled these sessions on focused on digital environment and capital market in India. Personalized physical presence is required in a digital environment. Why digital is arise due to effect of technology where tools, speeds and adaptability is one of the important aspect of kind of change taking place. We also covered kind of digital journey of capital market in the pre and post 2000 and new normal set after COVID. Lots of challenges and opportunities are there for particularly digital environment where the changes taking place because of adaptability, that we can savings, regulations, and management of risks. Such a huge you can say topic as well as you can say that the information you shared on this particular platform. So once again, thank you on behalf of our management and Advocate V.B. Deshpande College of Commerce. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So we have last guest speaker of the session on NEP and environment of this, Dr. Suchitra Naik, principal from Doshi Bedekar College.
maybe
I briefly introduce about Madam. One second, sorry. Yeah. In her introduction, her qualification, education qualification, PhD, MA, and
Sir,
PG.
sir, just one liner, so I
Okay.
can start with my presentation, please.
All right, ma'am.
We all are teachers, I suppose.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
We all
You
are
can start, ma'am.
Yes.
No issue. Yeah. I'll just stop the sharing. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Carry.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
क्या मैम
Yeah.
नहीं है मैम जोशी बेटे
You can start the session, ma'am.
Improve केला.
तिने स्क्रीन शेअर करते अनम्यूट हां करा ना
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You can
Yes,
carry.
madam, you're audible.
Yes. Is my presentation visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, respected principal.
Yes, presentation is visible, but you are not.
No, it's
You are
okay.
not.
I mean, presentation is more important. Okay. Now? Yes.
आपण तो करून देते मॅडम
Yes.
Respected principal of Advocate V.B. Deshpande College of Commerce, Knight. I really congratulate you, madam, for thinking of such a relevant theme for your international conference, and also, great stalwarts who have spoken here before, Brain Panchanatham, then Professor Ravindra Reina, subject expert Mr. Manoj Sathe, and all my teacher colleagues and dear students who are present over here. I would be speaking mainly on ODL, as you can ODL. So, in the light of NEP. Now, the basic aim and objective of NEP 2020 is reaching education and higher education to maximum number of people, or rather to have universal access of education to all youth. Now, this is one of the objectives of NEP 2020. Second vision, very important vision of NEP, is to transform the field of education. Now, I think this word transformation is the key word as far as our NEP is concerned. So, being philosophy person, I thought we should take a cursory view of transformation which has happened throughout the world in different examples, through education. Now, here very briefly, I would like to mention a few educational experiments which have been conducted by great educationists and how the nationwide change was seen. Now, first amongst them would be, I'm quoting this example, Paulo Freire, who started a teaching program for, literacy teaching program for laborers, and through that, the whole movement in Brazil was built, and it totally changed the face of Brazil, and ultimately democracy established in Brazil. And according to Paulo Freire, this could become possible only because of right type of education. Even Illich, more and more we compartmentalize education, more and more we formalize education, more and more we are likely to lose on the spirit of education. And he wrote this book and gave the concept of deschooling society. Okay, commerce students, why they shouldn't know about Shakespeare and Sant Tukaram. That was the theme line actually, which was proposed by Ivan Illich. And I suppose NEP is exactly trying to propose the same. Coming to Indian land, we all know these two great stalwarts who have dedicated their lives for education, modern national education, and both of them were of the opinion that unless and until you change the education, no transformation is possible. So, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, since we are in Maharashtra, I thought we have to, any discussion, any discourse on education cannot happen without taking the name of these stalwarts who made education in Maharashtra very different at the backdrop of national freedom movement, and they connected it with that, especially Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and who, as a woman, we all owe a lot to this couple, obviously to Mahatma Jyotiba Phule and Savitribai Phule. Now, again, the theme is transformation can be brought only through education. Now, Nai Talim, the experiments in Nai Talim of Mahatma Gandhi ji, it cast the spell on the entire world, okay, not only on India. And he said, if you are spending even a single minute where you are not occupied, then perhaps you are wasting your life. That's what he said. Now, I have taken this two quotations on purpose. Maybe I'll be able to connect them at the end of my presentation. Now, to have a wider perspective of what is happening today. Now, actually, very good, kind of, you can say, this kind of platform created by all the former speakers who said today we are not talking of choice, this is good or bad. The technology, the AI has already come in education. But to have a kind of wider perspective, we need to think about these concepts. What is teaching? What is learning? Can learning happen without teaching? And what is transformation? Is the aim of learning always transformation? Or learning, the word learning can be used in how many ways? Of course, there are various shades of learning. It may be skill learning, it may be learning of virtues, or it may be just imbibing information. Now, so to have a wider perspective, today, through online learning teaching, the world, दुनिया आई मुट्ठी में kind of experience we all are having, and post COVID or during COVID we all had this experience, as Mr. Manoj Sathe mentioned. Okay, so we all know it. Now the time has come. ODL, which open and distance learning, we are talking about Coursera, MOOCs, where there is no face-to-face interaction, and yet we aim to have this kind of learning. So I will not go into the depth of it, because by now we all know what is ODL. Now, obviously, the advantages and all, if we'll go to see, it has started long back in 1962 in India, when UGC recognized course was started by Delhi University, which was called as correspondence course. Now, it was so old. Now, I also remember one of the aims or purpose of University of Mumbai affiliated colleges was to have online exams as a part of system. Now, it was 5 years plan, but it brought it so early that we all were forced to take exams. COVID forced us to take, and we were able to do that. So it started in 1962. We are in 2023 today. Today it has flourished so much. Today it has become part and parcel of our system. Now, obvious advantages of ODL are, if one word we will take, the flexibility which it is providing, and flexibility is one of the core values of NEP. So I get flexibility of teacher and student, teacher in one course, maybe student in the other course, and who can be my teacher. There are also possibilities. I get flexibility of modality, time, admission criteria, quality attainment. I can go with my own pace. I need not compete with the class. So these are obvious advantages of ODL. Now, see, the thing is, we have already shifted to online mode. Online mode, we supply chains, we have accepted, we have created certain standards for the same. Online exam, I just gave you the example. There also we have proctoring or competitive exams. It is being done in a very, very professional way. Now, therefore, the question is, there is still a kind of what you can say, there is a kind of worry in mind of anxiety, in mind of academicians as well as students. Can true education really happen through ODL? Okay, so we need to address this anxiety. This is what I feel, and on the basis of that, I have made this presentation. Now, as far as whether true learning is happening or no, in order to know that, we need to have certain well spelled out conditions. Now, what are these conditions? Here, the pupil and one who created the course course or the teacher in ODL, have to both maintain the seriousness of education. The intention of the learner should be very clear, whether he or she wants to imbibe the information, imbibe the skill, or imbibe the conversation, create the discourse. What is the intention behind taking a particular ODL, or for that matter, any other online exercise in education? That one should be very clear about. One should have compassion. The teacher, the giver and taker, and giver and taker coming on the same platform, they should have compassion. It has to be outcome based. Techno proficiency has to be there. New norms and virtue ethics will play a great role over here, because we need to develop new ethical norms as far as ODL and online teaching learning is concerned. So kind of online regulatory, which is already there in place as far as AICT is concerned, UGC is concerned. But if we want to spread, then maybe if new platforms at local and global level are to be created, then we have to be very careful about this online regulatory and continuous quality assurance and enhancement regulation as well. So as far as ODL is concerned, there are pretty many challenges. What kind of discipline is required? What if there are technology glitches? What if there is lack of, there is no feedback. There is lack of feedback. So even if at the lack of feedback as well, how we can continue with certain programs, certain courses, that needs to be seen. As Manoj sir pointed out, there are bound to be distractions. In fact, MHRDC, our course is just happening in our college with MHRDC, and we all know how HRDC is very strict. Though you are online, your camera has to be on, and continuous questions are asked. So, how we can kind of control these distractions. There has to be way to do it. So we have to create a kind of balance. Inability to create balance can be a big challenge as far as ODL is concerned, or any other online teaching learning is concerned. Similarly, lack of social interaction, as I think, I suppose, Panchanathan sir mentioned about it, the connect. It's not to replace the teacher, but it is to imbibe the skill, what it is exactly. So social interaction cannot be, just online cannot replace social interaction. So what we can do about that? We need to think, we need to create it, we need to be innovative and creative about it. And the most important thing is highly motivated learner. But I suppose that is the starting point of every educational endeavor. If the learner is not motivated, it's not possible. See, the simple saying, we can take horse to the water, that we experience in physical class as well. Students are physically present, sometimes they are not mentally alert and present. So I think whatever mode may be, the most basic thing is the learner has to be highly motivated and should have clear goal and intention as far as learning is concerned. Now, one more angle I would like to add over here as far as ODL is concerned. See, India is a land of variety. The world is also, of course, world, there are so many things. So I have taken these examples. For example, during COVID, I myself attended one course from New York on philosophical praxis. It was very serious kind of discussion. Every evening, 7 p.m., we used to gather together, philosophical counselors. So it's a new profession in philosophy, or having cutting edge with philo and psycho, and we thoroughly enjoyed. Now today, about IKS, about human values, HRDC programs, which are happening quite seriously. So, what is there in one corner of India, it can be learned by someone else. Okay, so an artist from Maharashtra can know Madhubani Shaili, or artists from Madhya Pradesh or Orissa can know about Varli painting or mandala art, so on and so forth. So what is happening at one corner of the world can happen at national level as well as at global level. That is, I suppose, the biggest strength of ODLs. So this is just example, but at the same time, as it has been mentioned by former speakers, I would like to, I have kept this empty on purpose. We have to think about certain things with clarity. When do we say the learning has taken place? I am online, other 39 participants are online. So will we say that yes, it has taken place, or what, how we will spell out the conditions? If it is outcome based, how innovatively we will craft those, or spell out the outcomes, and how we will assess them, how we will evaluate whether learning has taken place or no. All these things matter a lot. So actually NEP has given us guidelines, enough food for thought, enough food for creativity. Now it's duty of academicians, it's duty of all the stakeholders of the society. If we want our children to have demonstrable skills, okay, so, and the bridge between theory and practice, if we want our youngsters, the youngest nation we are boasting today, we are a young nation of the world because demography wise. So if we want our young population to be equally learned, then we need to think and create the targets for youngsters. May it be online platform, may it be ODL, may it be MOOC, may it be physical, or as Madam has coined, phyghit. So whatever it may be, but we need to spell it out, and unless and until we spell out, when we can say that learning has really taken place. Okay, so that is what I wanted to say about. Obviously, ODL is very important. It has very special place in higher education across the globe. I got to know that 39 billion dollars, I wouldn't say business, but this is the, this is what Harvard has done in past 2 years. So with so much of ODL, which is becoming a kind of emerging market as well, see the advantages. There can be enhanced GR, gross enrollment ratio. And as I told you about Ivan Illich, who talks about deschooling society, who talks about deschooling society. So he talked about creating funnels. So I want to know something about financial markets, I want to invest something, then I do that type of particular course. So if someone wants to know about ethics, they do some course in ethics, or whatever, or psychology, so on and so forth. Now, all this ultimately will help in democratization of higher education, which I think is a precondition of sailing smooth of democracy in India, which is again the largest democracy of the world. Okay, so I think this was my take on ODL. I hope I have not extended my time limit. These are a few references. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to philosophize and share my thoughts with all of you. Namaskar.
Thank you.
आपल्या मम्मी जो बोले पे
Matkar sir, you are mute. Matkar sir, please unmute yourself. Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Suchitra Naik, madam, for your valuable advice and professional knowledge about the new education policy and online distance learning. Madam, you covered the aims and objectives of NEP 2020. You also focused on the transformation of education with reference to the foreign philosopher comparing to the other Indian Lokmanya Tilak and Mahatma Phule about the will and empowerment of education, which is real practical education. And today we are thinking about the digital. 100% it is relevant to education that the physical environment. You also talk about that wider perspective of digital learning, where you covered the online distance learning, its advantage, requirement, purposes, beneficiaries and regulators, and also you covered the challenges. You also gave a very good example that is India is a land of variety of educational values, which is really important for today's era. And also you covered the outcome-based education, yeah, performance-based education, regulation and theories are important. Ma'am, on behalf of our management and Advocate V.B.DESHPANDE College of Commerce, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Have a
Parag
nice
sir,
day.
over to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Now, after this thought-provoking first part of our international conference, now we are moving on to the paper presentation through our technical sessions. I would like to inform all the participants that technical session 1 will continue on the same link, and link for the technical session 2 has already been posted in our WhatsApp group. I would like to request the paper presenters from technical session 2 to join that link. Now, we do have the resource person for technical session 1, Dr. Milind Marathe sir with us. Sir, with your kind permission, we can start with the technical session. Can we?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Once again, I would like to welcome the resource person for our technical session 1, Dr. Milind Marathe sir, and all the paper presenters from across the world to this technical session 1. It is indeed my pleasure to introduce a very profound and academician and scholarly professor, Dr. Milind Marathe sir, for this session. Sir has more than 26 years of experience and has been working as a PhD guide of Savitribai Phule Pune University in marketing management. Sir has also worked as a reviewer on International Journal of Technology Transfer and Commercialization, which is listed in Australian Business Team Council Journal rankings. He is currently working as a subject expert at different institutes like Sinhagad Institute, AISSM, ZEAL Institute, and Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapit Pune. As a resource person, Sir has significantly contributed in the revision of syllabus framing. As a writer, he has 4 books at his credit to name Sales Management, Product Brand Management, Contemporary Market Research, MCQs for MBA Semester 3 Marketing Management. He has been invited as a resource person to deliver special talks by institutes like Pratibha Institute of Management, Lonavala, Science and Technology Park, Pune, and many more. And dear friend, this list goes on and on. Sir, it is indeed our privilege to have you with us as a chairperson for Technical Session 1. We all are looking forward to hear from you at the end of the paper presentation, and your general recommendations and remark on papers will help us to improve us in the future. Now, with the kind permission of our chairperson, we will start with the paper presentations. But before we begin, I would like to remind all the participants to please stick with the time limit. That is Mrs. Abhadote ma'am from Thakur Shamanarayan Degree College. Her topic is the onset of Internet of Things application. Ma'am, if you are with us, then you can start your screen sharing. Mrs. Abhadote ma'am.
नक्की का
Okay. Okay, then before I begin, I will read out the order of the paper presenters. The list was already displayed in the group, so paper presenters must be aware about it. But once again, I will read it. We'll start with Mrs. Abhadote ma'am, then Dr. Rucha Naik, then Ms. Shivani Rai, then Dr. Mrs. Varsha Ganatra and Ms. Mahika Shah, then Ms. Bertila Alfonso, then Dr. Milind A. Dua, then Mrs. Preeti Savle, then Ms. Shweta Gare, then Mrs. Sonam Singh, then Mr. Nilesh Kumar Agarwal, then Dr. Parampreet Singh, and then last, Mrs. Uma Trivedi. So I request everyone to be ready with their PPTs, and they can start sharing their PPTs once their name has been announced. If a particular paper presenter is absent at the moment when his name is called, then only with the permission of our chairperson we can take it at the end if time permits. So once again, I would request Mrs. Abhadote ma'am, if she is with us. Okay, we will move on then. Dr. Rucha Naik ma'am from KJ Somaya College of Science and Commerce.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am, perfect. If you want to share your screen, you can.
Yes, yes. Just a minute. Is my screen visible, sir?
Not, ma'am, not yet.
Just a minute, let me share again. Is it visible now?
Yes, your screen is visible, ma'am.
Okay.
You can go to slideshow. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Sarvajanik Shikshan Sanstha, V.B.DESHPANDE College for inviting me. आणि मला सांगण्यास फार आनंद होतोय आणि अभिमानही वाटतोय की याच संस्थेची जी शाळा आहे नलिनीबाई पुरंदरे त्याची मी माझी विद्यार्थिनी आहे 1994 बॅचची. तर मला ही कॉन्फरन्स प्रत्यक्ष तिथे येऊन अटेंड करायलाही आवडली असती. So moving on, so my topic is transforming blended learning, a digital approach for educational enhancement. So in my topic, in today's presentation, we will cover following points. So I'll introduce today's topic, and this paper includes, we'll just see the history of technology in education. Then we'll see the core idea about blended learning. Different models will be discussed. Then the essence of virtual classroom in pandemic, and then we'll see the actual challenge, that is need to reshape this blended learning as a digital learning. Yes. So this topic, as all the invited speakers were discussing since morning, so we know the traditional chalk and talk approach has to be integrated with the online resources, because we have to take help of the digital era, and we have to integrate, because the learners has to be digital smart also. So this concept of blended learning came with this only. Blended learning started taking help of this technology, and then we started how this physical learning it completely transformed online learning as the pandemic hit the whole world, and each and every teacher had to engage the students with the course content through this online learning. Then while doing this, uh, everyone was in a virtual world. So with the closure, this pandemic that sustained, and then we have came back to the face-to-face learning era. Then we saw we have, as a teachers, as the educators, saw the adverse effects in this among the student, to align them to the face-to-face learning. So various skills like social interaction, hands-on lab skills, problem skills were affected. So now we have to take help of this digital learning to, this whole process has to be upgraded, because we do not want to lose basic skills of social interaction, hands-on also, and we do not want to lose this technological help also. So now there is a challenge for the educators to remodel this blended learning pedagogy into this digital learning. So we'll just take a quick review of this history of education. So as we are aware, ancient knowledge delivery system, it was just like spoken word, and student were just memorizing the things. So that was the education system in the ancient era. Then technology started intervening this education with printing technology, and now this standardized education material, that is books, they were widespread and they were available, easily available. So after that, when the blackboard were started using around 18th century, so now this teacher started visually presenting the information, and here the chalk and talk method started, which was using, and then 20th century started with the all the broadcasting and the technology. So visual and auditory learning experiences also started. So the information which was passed only through this kind of two-dimensional chalk and talk, now it has one other visual and auditory learning experience also started. Then overhead projected also started using, and then came the general availability of the computers, where the online learning started. So this is the era we are in, where the blended learning pedagogy emerged. So blended learning, basically what exactly it is, blend the technology with the face-to-face learning, and it is not just, it has this key, we have to take help of the flipped classroom. Earlier in traditional method, the student were just the listeners, and teachers used to assign them some homework activity. But then flipped classroom, here this concept started ki, educator will pass them some material, and they will do some homework before coming to the class, and then with the class, that student centric learning, and teacher will be just an observer. So here this material, study material, like given well in advance. So here the technology was very much helpful by when we were passing the study material to them, and also it helped student for this collaboration also. Collaboration were also taken help with the technology, with various modes, so like WhatsApp messaging, or the online learning LMS platforms. Student used to interact with each other. But still, before pandemic, yeah, just not to mention, forgot to mention the virtual simulations and labs. So this also, instead of like doing practical directly by coming to the lab, they used to teacher used to give them some simulation work. They used to get it well in advance so that they can make out what are the observations, what are the graphs to be done, and what are the calculations, so that they will be like just for hands-on. They will be coming well prepared for the lab session. But still, with some research also, we can see before pandemic, I especially say, blended learning. There are various research materials are available how it is successful for understanding and like for collaboration. Also, how the peer-to-peer learning is also successful. So many research articles are available, but still the percentage of usage was less before pandemic, because one it is like, one has to spend a huge amount of time to create those digital contents, and then those contents were there. YouTube was there already available, but each and every teacher was not that much keen to visit that YouTube channel for that particular subject. So obviously, and many students were also not having that facility with them, internet problem, smartphone problem. So it was not compulsive before pandemic, but the lockdown scenario, it made the thing कि one has to, the whole education sector has to shift to the virtual classroom mode. So so many virtual classes took help of this Zoom, Google Meet, Micro. This is different platforms were available. Then the whole learning material and the assignments, quizzes, everything was integrated in this Moodle platform. So education material, assignments, so all resources, all the notes, they were available for the teacher through this online mode. So and the another thing is, what has happened is, it was not necessary for synchronous, that means teacher will be there and one has to go on one to one, because many student has net connectivity issues also. So asynchronous learning was also one aspect for that virtual class. Ki, teacher used to send them all the material, and then with their own pace, that means whenever the net is available, they have to finish the activity, assignment, or and then teacher will evaluate, and they will be having the interaction. So this thing added the advantage amongst the student. Ki students were also digital literacy skills were developed, and so that for today's digital age, this also a one added skill which acquired by the students. Okay, but all this has some like negative implications also amongst the student, because their daily lifestyle changed. Because doing this, students started spending a huge amount of time in this virtual world. So that's our topic actually. So one should not miss this also, how it has affected. So what has happened is, education institute, it is not just for the subject or teaching, it is like holistic development has to be considered. So this device which they were handling, they, although we were saying it was peer learning and all, but still there was this digital gap in between. So this unfavorable shifts amongst the student was observed by the educationist. So like, so various research articles are available on the net about this, how it is creating learning gaps. So specifically for this practical skills, problem solving skills. So although they were they got evaluated in some online methods, but still the academic skills were not up to the marks. And this was obviously because of the interruptions, because the device which they were handling has enormous distractions in that. So this also led to actually inabilities to interact and build a proper relationship amongst the peer group. Although they were socially active, but when the post-pandemic, when college reopened, the team building capacities were they were suffered like anything. So yes, and this all has happened. We know this is because of the distractions, the reduced attention spans, and they were not able to focus for 50 minutes lecture continuously. So this negative and positive adverse effect which were observed, we can make out that this has student has suffered mentally and physically, as physical health also suffered because of this virtual learning. So, and what exactly happened is here this digital technology will take over, because the thing was, although we were spending much time in developing the contents, giving them the material, but there was not proper guidance how to use this material available. As we are aware, just like we also now are little used to about it, but thing is, like, if you are having any doubt, just Google it, find it in Wikipedia. But identifying the quantity and quality material and how to utilize them, so that all the students are lagging in that skill. They are having huge material availability. Hello.
Ma'am, one more minute, ma'am.
Yes. I'll finish. So here, this is affecting their completing the coursework. So here there are challenge for the digital learning. So what we need to do, we as educators, we need to remodel this blended learning which is already there, so that the percentage of physical or face-to-face learning will be more and technical help will be less, because we are not just teaching them the subject or the academic skill. We have to see the whole like self-learning and self-paced online courses is not going to help them to handle the stresses or how take decision making, also the interpersonal relations. So all these aspects of life has to be taken care when we will reshape this blended learning method. So, as we are aware that recently UNESCO has released this. Yes, we need to teach children to live both with and without technology, to take what they need from the abundance of information, but to ignore what is not necessary. So, to let technology support, but never supplant the human interaction in teaching and learning. So we have to emphasize on this point that technology is just a resource. It is not a complete education system. We need a more balanced and holistic approach, so that all this as a holistic development of the student will not be suffered, but it will be enhanced. So that is a huge challenge as an educator with all of us. So that's it. Thank you from my side. I hope I am in time.
Thank you, ma'am. Topic was wonderful. It is good to have you again back with us, at least in the virtual mode, being
Yes,
an
sir.
alumni of this samstha.
Yes, sir.
Once again, I would like to request everyone to please stick to the time limit. We do have around 12 to 13 paper presenters, and we don't want to go beyond time. So thank you, Ruchana ma'am. Now we are moving on to the next paper presenter, Ms. Shivani Rai ma'am. She is from Savitribai Phule Pune University. Ma'am, you can share your screen now. Thank you.
Sir, just a question.
Yes, sir.
Do we have questions after the every presenter, or we'll have it in the end?
We can have it in the end. So you can take a call. We do have a time
Hello.
constraint, so it is up to you, sir, as you suggest.
Hello, very good morning to all. Sir, am I
Hello.
audible?
Ma'am, just a minute.
Yeah, just a minute. Sir, can you please repeat? Somehow I had muted my phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have questions in the end.
We can have questions in the end, sir.
In-
Or you
okay,
can,
okay.
it is up to you, sir. Whatever you decide will follow. No issues.
Okay. Because I had one or two questions for the first presenter. So
Okay,
I
then
thought
we
I'll
can.
finish up and then move. Yeah.
Rucha Naik, ma'am, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shivani, ma'am, can you just wait for a couple of minutes? Sorry.
Sir?
Yes, madam.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, madam. It was a good presentation and
Thank you, sir.
a very good topic. Almost all the aspects you have covered. But since we are into digital world, this is very complex concept. I just wanted to know your views. In fact, these are the challenges.
Yes,
Views about the proliferation of MOOC courses. So there are so many massive open online courses which are available.
yes,
So in terms of learners, there are multiple options and
yes,
there are better options at time.
yes.
So what are your comments on either changes in terms of pedagogy or methods for ensuring learners engagement in the new system?
Yes. So, sir, we as I am from Science College. I am from Physics Department, it is Somaya Science College. So here we have added a must SWAYAM NPTEL course as a credit course. But as what we are seeing is percentage of enrollment in the course and percentage of passing in the course is really there is a huge gap in between. What is happening is all these learners they are when they are doing the main core course also and this SWAYAM and NPTEL course also, all the students are not getting benefited. So what we did is like from our college, what we did is okay, it is not mandatory you pass all the evaluations or all the end exam for that SWAYAM or NPTEL courses. So what we did is even if you are successful in submitting the internal assessment which they are evaluating, then also we will consider it. So that is an example how we can we can curtail the percentage because each and every student will not be able to take advantage of courses. So yes, MOOC courses for some part of learning it's fine. Especially I would say ki for those who are programming based or such concepts, they will master in that purpose. But when it is coming to hands-on or lab skill, so they are actually impossible with only the online MOOC courses. So this way I can suggest some some shift some changes in the internal evaluation pattern or can curtail the percentage. That is what I want to say here with this digital, since the term has physical first and digital later. So physical you give more credits and digital you give lesser credits. So that we cannot ignore and we have to, because we ourselves we want our student to be digitally smart. But when we are making them digitally smart, they should not that human interpersonal relation, because we are seeing this amongst all our surroundings how they are engrossed in the virtual world. So we have to we have still our as a teacher we have that huge responsibility to take them out and interact more. So that is our responsibility. So that's what I want to say, or I can few suggestion I can give.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In terms of generations,
Yes,
we have different generations right now.
yes,
So
yes,
not only the college students, because the learners come from different strata and different
yes,
age groups now. That is
yes.
again an effect that everyone has started on the learning curve.
Hmm.
So in terms of generation, Gen Y or Gen Z or Gen Alpha,
Yes.
uh, what will be the classification of these platforms? I mean, where it will be more digital, more digital. Your comments?
Yes, sure, sir. Because Gen Z, which is we are facing them. We are seeing they a huge part of their life started with the technology itself. Like not to mention, they started handling the smartphone in very young age. So, but our generation, we are Gen X and the before we have come from that huge background where we had the physical interaction. Since we remember our teachers, where they although maybe they were not that all great in teaching, but like that interpersonal relations were so good. But this generation, since the technology they are growing with the technology, so there we should that physical should be different. And since our generation, since we are aware how this physical interaction is must. So and for them also, when since you are mentioning MOOC for a elder person, or let us say take an example for corporate world, what we see, they mostly have their training online. But since they are now they are very much focused. Okay, for this job purpose they have to gain this what is skill, so they will complete it with that amount of whatever the target time which is given. But you can't expect the same from a 10th or 12th student, or even nowadays like for a graduate student. Okay, for this, because now like everything is like, if I gain this skill for corporate world, okay, or even like in a government sector also, if I'm not gaining this skill, I will not get the increment or something kind of that. But here, the same logic will not be applied, will not be applicable for the students. So for them, they will just wander around all the distractions. So there, that's why that focusing, that self-paced learning is not that successful for that age group. So there we have to curtail that self-learning courses. We should not have more for this Gen Z, I should say. I hope I'm clear.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, with your permission, we'll move on to the next paper presenter. So,
Yes, sir, sure.
yeah. Thank you, sir. So now again, I would like to request Ms. Shivani Rai, ma'am, from Savitribai Phule University to present her paper. Now you can share your screen now.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay. I hope my slides are visible.
Yes, ma'am, your slides are also visible.
A very good morning to all. My name is Shivani Rai and I am a research scholar from Savitribai Phule Pune University. The title of my research paper is Envision, Engage, Empower, Forging Inclusive and Legal Digital Realms Through Challenges and Breakthroughs. The research method that I used for this paper is totally based on secondary data collection from both unpublished and published sources. Let me start by giving a brief introduction about the topic. Phygital, as the name suggests, is the blending of physical and digital realms, making it a phygital realm as a whole. This blend creates new possibilities for inclusivity and legality in the novel environment. It creates social, technological, and governance advancement. Now, to fully understand the impact of inclusive and legal digital realms, it is important to delve into the concept of accessibility and its influence on individuals and communities. This includes examining how different groups, such as people with disabilities, different skills, or those from marginalized backgrounds, who have not enough who are not enough literate, can navigate and participate in these spaces. So, such a very strategic idea I would like to share here is envisioning inclusive and legal digital realms. Here we can create spaces with seamless integration of physical and digital elements that will cater to diverse needs and preferences, including those with disabilities. This includes incorporating universal design principles and emerging technologies like augmented reality, voice recognition, designers, etc. So engaging. The word engagement refers to an increase in people's participation. We can make these physical spaces also accessible to individuals with different disabilities, communities, or different. I would say will be able to create more inclusive society. We can achieve this by implementing technologies such as screen readers, voice recognition software, and tactile feedback devices that enable individuals with disabilities to navigate and interact with both physical and digital environments. This approach not only promotes inclusivity but also enhances usability and overall user satisfaction. Now, to understand empowering, it is crucial for fostering a sense of independence and empowerment among the citizens. By incorporating features that I have already suggested, like tactile feedback and voice commands, the individuals of different community can actively participate in physical realms and have more control over their experiences. This not only enhances their overall engagement but also promotes equal opportunities for self-expression and personal growth. By breaking down barriers and providing accessible tools, designers can empower different individuals to navigate and thrive within the physical world, thus ensuring that no one is left behind in the age of technological advancement. This is to enable people to take an active part in the digital world. It is essential to develop digital literacy and and to create an inclusive design principle. Now, to conclude, I would like to say that Envision, Engage, and Power strategy offers a strategic roadmap by encouraging stakeholders to work together and empower people to control their own experiences in a future where equitable physical and digital convergence occurs. Thus, to ensure that the fusion of these realms enhances inclusivity and respects legal requirements, the journey calls for ongoing conversation, ethical vigilance, and cooperative efforts. Here are the references that I have used for my paper. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir,
Yes, ma'am. Uh,
Marathe sir.
good paper and different concept. Can you elaborate on the legal digital aspects?
Sir, the chances that we have seen that there are many uh, I would say, the encroachment in the legal aspects are taking place, like deep fakes. People are trying to create a more the more we are uh, getting involved into digital arena, the more chances of getting the uh, people rights the encroachment of people rights would increase. So the legality and the overall securing the securement of this the uh, the digital realm should be taken into consideration.
Fine. How would you suggest a migration from physical to digital in terms of achieving the three E's which you have mentioned? How do that migration happen with the fast change of technology?
Sir, I don't understand the question. Can you repeat?
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
What I am interested in knowing is how do we have a smooth migration from physical to digital and in the process achieve the three E's which you have mentioned, that is envision, engage, and empower.
Sir, like I said in my presentation, that all these aspects include like envisioning, like we are trying to create a vision from where people will interact through this digital world. Will be having some interfaces, user interfaces. So this is some apps. The very basic example we can say that through apps we are interacting. Like through Google Meet, we are having this. We are envisioning our this conference through this Google Meet. So and thus by envisioning, we are also increasing the participation. Thus we are engaging also, and 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 by making it more accessible to people, we are empowering people. So this is the whole strategy that I am suggesting.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
thank you, madam. Thank you, sir. Now moving on to the next paper presenter. Next paper is from Dr. Mrs. Varsha Ganatra and Miss Mahika Shah ma'am. Mahika Shah ma'am will present the paper. Both are from Vivekananda Education Society's College of Arts, Science and Commerce. Ma'am?
Yes, I'll
Yeah.
just refer the
Yes,
screen.
yes. Your screen is visible.
Yes.